What's up, ladies and gents? Get on up in that line because it's time for us to dine on another bit of Mountain Blade's wine. There we go. I could do this. Briny wine. In any case, I've started this whole thing out with a nice little rhyme for all of you. And so, war has indeed broken once again. We're at war. It's been about, I'd say 5 or 6 in-game days since our last episode. Jarl Dirigen is sending us a request to help him out. We got declared on by Vaegirs. So in this case, what I would like to do is we're going to try and expand out our territory as much as we can. Just kind of take Vaegir's spot during the course of this campaign if we can get away with it. Like if we can get our hands down in Vaegir's purse and just kind of rattle it around a little bit and find, we'll be so far back in that purse we're going to be finding movie candy. That's basically what we want to do. So let's go find Dirigen. And he was close to Shibbolin. I can never say that town's name. Shibton. There we go. Shibbolin. A town with many consonants. We have many things, but consonants are the most. And where is he at, and where is he headed to, would be my question. It said he was here. Without daylight, unfortunately, there we are. Jarl, how are you doing today, good sir? I have soldiers with me. We shall join you in your campaign of righteousness. Or at least campaign of looting and money-making. Hey, I'm begging my leave here. Weird things are afoot. And feet are pretty weird. I always understood that. That was one of those things that I was like, yes, weird things indeed are afoot. Feet are like the strangest appendage that we have on us. I mean, well, I guess there's weirder ones. But I'm trying to keep this in the PG-13 realm, guys. I'm trying to keep it there. I mean, sometimes the goalposts get moved a little bit by sneak thieves. But typically, I try and keep it PG-13 to 17, maybe. The nice thing about that is I can still make jokes that require at least like a little bit of thought, but at the same time I can get away with like your regular just Seth MacFarlane style fart jokes too if I really need to. And so we've been ridden down on by what appears to be, well, we didn't, I guess they didn't. Hey, I'm trying to explain the situation here. Situation report, and you are ruining it. So anyways, as I was saying, it appears as though we have ridden down on some Vaegirs that are in a caravan configuration, carrying the goodies. Oh no. We need to find our way out of this. There is no way that that's going to end well for us. It may end well for any one of these guys, though, if they manage to kill us. How much XP you get for killing the player character? Like, if this was Reboot, how, like, good do you think that would be? Like, really, if Bob killed me, I think I'd be okay with it. Oh, he's doing a thrust. Please don't thrust into me, my friend. I don't know you nearly well enough. You gotta buy me at least a couple loaves of bread first. Maybe even some wine as well. We've already been talking about wine in this episode, but I'm just saying it may be a required entrance fee for the overall thrusting. Now then. Will you guys stop moving? Like, I realize you know that I'm trying to murder you, but I'd prefer to do it a little bit easier since it's gonna happen either way. Like, just stand still, and I'll come by every now and again. I'll just tap each one of you. Fine, I'll flat blade you with the sword. I won't even slash you. I'll just tap you right on your noggin, and once you've been tapped, you fall down and go, ah, and maybe it'll convince the game that you're dead. At which point, you can go on living, like with your Vaegir wife and your Vaegir family, with your Vaegir food and your Vaegir horses and your Vaegir cattle, or whatever it is you do. You can continue farming hops or whatever mundane task you find yourself doing as a peasant. That's all good. I don't have to murder you, but you're really kind of amplifying the situation and forcing my hand. Now then, good to see you here, Mad Dog McGriddle. That was a good scrap. No joy like the joy of victory, eh? It's a bully good day. Well then. Ooh, some furs. Nice. We actually got ourselves some trade goods out of there. Get me all excited. Oh, that's all he wanted us to do? Well, he wants us to come hang out in Kurin Castle. I think a better idea would probably be to send people after Kura in the hopes that we could steal it. But we might want to wait until a little bit later in the campaign, simply because at this point they're going to have a lot of elite units, and this is going to be part of that first big clash. Like, there's always like a first wave at the beginning of each battle, or at the beginning of each campaign, where you really get hit by what the worst is that the enemy has under their control. Once we've whittled through that and we've denied them their ability to use any of their really nasty troops on us, we should be alright. But for now, I actually think I'm going to hang back for a bit. I am going to release all captives during this campaign so that we can start making friends with people. I know it usually doesn't offset the deficit that you've developed by attacking them in the first place, but it's better than nothing considering we have to fight them either way, so Let's upgrade her to a sword sister, which will be really, really nice. We could definitely use some more sword sisters. Upgrade all of our bowmen, obviously. We've got 9 more veteran crossbowmen ready to go, so I'll move them up the list a little bit. And I'm feeling pretty happy with what we have at the moment. I still haven't leveled up Borcho, so let's jump into his skill. Oh, I know I'd rather have you at my side. Please, stay with me. Now then, he was doing pathfinding and spotting. Suppose I'll give him another intellect. No, I was working on him becoming a better warrior. That's what it was. So we'll give him riding forward so that we could buy better horses. And if my memory serves, at this point, we probably owe several people a new horse. So let's go through all of our skills and find out who needs a horse. So you don't need a horse. Nizar needs, I think we need 2. That's kind of a conservative guess right there. And our, where was it? Was it Kurin, which is around somewhere? I know Kurin's around here. Damn it, where are you? There it is. I knew it was in the vicinity somewhere. Well, we could swing through, and I think we need to start working on our relationships with people. I know that lately we've been kind of neglecting all of our social aspects of the game. Oh, he's not even there. Okay, well, screw you then. I didn't want to come to your party anyways. Your party looked like it was gonna suck anyways. I'm out. Ooh, King Yeroglik's rolling out here, which is kind of terrifying. And now we've just got to see if he catches any, but oh, we're out of food. I don't think he can catch us, so we need to get over here and grab ourselves some food before this really goes badly and we end up with desertions, because I don't need that right now. Ah, good. They have a wide selection, which always makes me pleased. And it was all free. Well, not necessarily free, but it was all tradable, which is always a good thing, because spending your money on stuff like food, absolutely depressing. There's one thing that I realized becoming an adult, like when I went from like the mooching off your parents phase of your life into like the phase of your life where you pay your own bills. One thing that I realized is it was pretty sweet having people buy your food for you. Like honestly, it was pretty badass always having like Lucky Charms in the cabinet. I'm not gonna cover that with any more sugar than the statement requires. I feel as though it's sugared enough at this point. It has been amicably and somewhat aggressively sugared, especially if it was in my bowl. When I was a little kid, I used to take I would take Cheerios, but I didn't necessarily like Cheerios that much. And so I would just dump like an ass ton of sugar in the milk, and then I would scrape a bunch of sugar off the bottom with the Cheerios and eat it. And apparently it didn't give me diabetes or anything. I played like 3 sports at the time, so I think I worked it all off. I was always hungry when I was a little kid, like constantly. It appears as though we have a siege of Kura going, and I'm pretty happy with that. That was what my target was going to be if I was directing everybody. And so seeing as we weren't given the marshalship, they decided to give that to somebody else. We're going to run on into Kura and see if we can't get ourselves some new real estate. The battle has begun, 165 versus what looks like 600 already. Let me do my upgrades before we go in, because you never know what tiny bit of armor might help somebody stay alive in one of these sieges. These sieges tend to be the most dangerous thing that your troops can ever do with regards to their life expectancy. They tend to be a really bad idea if you're trying to build up a force for an upcoming battle, but I don't see anything out there, so we're just going to jump in and get in the fight now. Let's approach the siege camp and join the next assault. And it looks like we're using a siege ramp, which is good. That means that we don't have to deal with any of those pesky ladders. I'm going to take my archers and I'm going to rearrange them back over here before any of them get too far up the ladder, because as we saw in our last siege, if they get too far up the ladder, then you try and back them off, they cause like a roadblock. The whole thing just becomes kind of a nuisance. So I start getting teary and frustrated. I have an inability to communicate with my own soldiers. And of course, becoming teary and crying out your orders instead of shouting them. Honestly, it makes people respect you less. So if you're ever trying to command some... Ooh, headshot. Nice. That's right, buddy. Run up to the walls. Get clacked. Or I suppose you're not getting clacked. You're getting flipped. Since it's an onomatopoeia for the sound that a gun makes. And since we don't have a gun, all we have is bows, I suppose we'll call it getting thwipped. I think we'll probably be able to take the wall without too much trouble. I mean, they have a lot of soldiers in there, and I may be speaking out of turn. This may get a lot worse before it gets better, but I do think we're kind of tearing them up on the walls right now. We're not doing too bad of a job. Let's see if I can't get him with a couple of arrows. Damn. Got him. Not exactly the most difficult shot, but at the same time, one that levels up my archery because it's a long shot. It appears as though we've taken the wall, so we want to be first up here. And then what we'll do is we'll reposition all of our soldiers. Now, if I recall the architecture of Kura properly, it's got like a little left way over there with some stairs that go down, but the enemies always spawn on the right. Oh, they may have held it. Never mind. Let's get back down the ladder before something terrible happens to us. And I have no problem just standing here and letting my archers shoot them from the spot that we're at. Especially since I have nobody else to send on up there, and we're not going to get reinforcements because we spawned so many archers. There we go. So we had to actually lose our final guy right there. Hopefully they'll bust up that shield in the front. New enemies is... Ooh, that's really, really bad luck. So if enemies arrive at the same time as your reinforcements arrive, it unfortunately means that you aren't going to be able to make any ground, which is really kind of the point of these sieges, is inching and inching. Doing the old inchworm, inchy squinchy, grunt and pinchy, I suppose, to get the spot that you want to be in. Since we have not gained that spot, we are now in a less than favorable spot of having to take the walls one more time. And they've reinforced themselves, which is going to make us do the whole dance that we just did all over again. So hopefully we'll roll the die here and we'll do a little bit better this time. Got him right in his eyeball with an arrow. He's probably going to need a trip to an optometrist or maybe an optometric surgeon or whatever the hell you call somebody that does surgery on eyes. Optometric surgeon? God, that arrow is just whizzing by his face. I'm almost getting him each time. I'm so close. So close, but so far away, to quote the popular 90s song. I had that on I used to... This is going back here, but... Oh, you young'uns out there, when I was a kid, we used to have tapes, and we would tape stuff on the radio when we wanted to hear it, because there was no digital distribution. And CDs were barely invented. And the CDs you did have, they kinda sucked. They got scratched real easy because I was like 8 years old. And CDs are much too fragile for the 8-year-olds. But anyways, getting off of my old man podium. Yeah, we used to record stuff off the radio, and I remember it was badass. If you could get the song without either an intro or an outro from whoever the dipshit DJ was. Like, if you could get it without his, hey guys, this is blah blah blah, doing blah 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 here today, I'll see you next time. If you could get it without that, that was like a token of pride. So you'd be like, yeah, I got that. And I got it without them saying anything either. It just went from one song to the next. Aw, yeah. And then after that, you would try and get the songs cut together as carefully as possible. But if you messed up a tape, that was always disappointing because then you had to start from scratch. Or at least if you got like the order of your tape messed up. Where's a dead guy? I need your arrows. Give me your arrows. New enemies have arrived prematurely one more time, unfortunately. That means we are killing each other at about an equal rate, which sucks. It really, really sucks. It means we're going to be stuck down here in the snow. I bet my booties are a bit... My feet have got to be getting cold at this point. I don't think they're fur-lined. I've stood around in the snow in tennis shoes before. It only takes like 10 minutes before the plastic on the bottom of your shoes, the rubber freezes over, and you're just like, oh my god, my toesies are so cold. And then you have to go in your house and find the first cat that's laying on the floor, and you're like, ah, and you stick your toes under the cat because it's hilarious watching the look of disgust on their face. Alright, gents, I think you're all out of arrows anyway, so up the walls with you. You've already driven me up the wall, God knows. So I might as well send you up there now as revenge. That dude in the front is toast. He doesn't have a shield, he doesn't have anything. I'm taking your guys' advice and staying towards the back of the battle because it seemed as though you guys were just like, why are you always in the front lines? And I thought that, you know, Mad Dog McGriddle was a badass. Like, she always wanted to be in the front because that's just how the McGriddle family rolls. But I'm hanging in the back right now because I'd hate to have to do this fight like 30 times over, and you lose a lot of morale if you lose these fights, so I prefer to not spend the next 20 minutes of my life killing Sea Raiders in the hopes that I'll have enough morale to get through the next week without somebody coming and shivving me in my sleep. That guy's just hanging out. What are you doing, Vigor Archer? Oh, nothing. Just hanging out. The parapet. Oh my god. Locational comedy. Who would have ever thought? That guy, ooh. Good shot. Do you think they would get mad at me if I was applauding our foes? You shot the bald guy right in the side of the head. That's not a bad shot from that range. There we go. Actual people who know how to murder stuff. Now, the nice thing is where our reinforcements have respawned. We should bust through the line at this point, and we should be able to make a nice little foothold in the middle of their base where we can just kind of hang out, shoot guys in the face, drink beer, party, and have a good time. Listen to Blind Guardian maybe once we get nice and toasty. That tends to be my music of choice. You just get like the little... I don't know, that medieval sounding heavy metal. It always gets me when I'm drunk, and I'm not sure why. However, when I go for other substances, it's the opposite direction. The more gangster, the better. So I kind of wax and wane depending on what substance is currently intoxicating me. Probably shouldn't talk about that right here. Tender ears around and everything. Earmuffs, everybody! If you're under the age of blah, cover your ears with the earmuffs that you can craft from your hands. Sounds like the ocean. I used to do that all the time when I was a little kid, cover my ears with my hands, make it sound like the ocean. I used to also do that thing where you would take your thumbs and you would push on your eyes. And when you pushed on your eyes, it would make like crazy, like psychedelic colors. I used to do that too. Probably not very healthy. Why are you shooting at me, man? You know I'm just gonna juke it every time you try and do it. Look, juked. Juked. And triple juked. How's your self-esteem? Probably pretty terrible, I would guess. I'll pick up some arrows here. I'm gonna get revenge on him. I'm gonna get revenge on him, as they say in the old Swahili. Alright, pal, I've had enough. I've been fed up. I've been fed up to here. And everybody knows that you may only feed me up to my belt line. Beyond that... Oh, and you shot me with an arrow, but look at my expensive armor! Welcome to class warfare, my friend. Welcome to my analogy for the universe. Or at least humankind. That's actually pretty awful. Now then, but it is a pretty good analogy. I mean, you know, po folks, what we gonna do? Not much. I mean, we can get out in the streets, but eventually they're just gonna get the stormtroopers to come along and hit us with beanbags and fire hoses and disperse the whole thing, so, you know. It happens when it happens. I stopped complaining a long time ago once I learned what side of the wire I was on. That's the big secret right there. You just gotta figure out, like, you can see the barbed wire in front of you. You just gotta figure out whether, like, you're one of us or, like, one of them. If you, I feel like I'm going off on a weird tangent right now. I suppose I don't even know what I'm talking about, to be honest. Like, if you asked me right now, define what you are saying. I don't know. I'm just saying words. I can't even define what I'm saying at the moment, so I think that's probably about the time where it's just like, close mouth after inserting foot. Can we please Blake can we Blake through their lines? Like we've got some badass dude named Blake who's like dual-wielding axes. He's blaking through their lines. Oh my god, can we break through their lines, please? I would absolutely love for this to just not be happening anymore. Most mods get rid of this problem because they'll put a ladder over here and a ladder over here. And then you just like head on in and the fights are over a lot quicker, which is one of the reasons I prefer to play mods in this game other than vanilla. However, there are many reasons that I prefer not to play mods too. Mods tend to have like really bad lag times. So for example, one of the big things that the modding community does is they add too many factions, so then the game is doing too many calculations for what the factions are doing. That's the reason that I absolutely cannot play, I can't play the one that's based on a Game of Thrones, a Clash of Kings. It lags too much, like the game is doing too many calculations, and it's strange. Well, I can play it, I just can't use the fast forward, and if I can't fast forward in this game, I'm not a happy camper. That's really my hang-up point, but I do really like Brittenwalda. That one lags a little bit too. AD 12 whatever is a pretty good mod, although I don't even know if that one's being worked on anymore. The last time I played that one was probably about a year ago. Clash of Kings has been the big one that I hear everybody playing. I sunk into it a little bit, but then again, I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan either. I've watched the show on and off. Like, I've seen like the first 1 or 2 seasons or something, but it's not something that I actively follow, like Breaking Bad, which is just like, I need to be at the television at this hour and this time. 10 of my Huskarls? Dude! What? Well, thanks for resetting my entire army back to square one. Oh my god. Like, that honestly destroys my desire. 10 Huskarls? Christ. Like, the frustration is welling up as I feel some serious force lightning just kind of developing within my loins, because that's where I assume that force lightning is conjured. But anyways, that was way too much. I mean, 10 Huskarls for one battle to take something that... I should have just let them fight it. They would have auto-resolved it in the end anyways. I was trying to be a brown-noser. And get my... We only have one level up. Really? Like, how does that work? How is there enough combat to kill off 10 Huskarls, but not enough combat to level anyone up? Like, seriously? I have sincere profanity that I wish to just scream at the screen right now, and unfortunately, I'm not in a medium where I'm going to be able to do it. Rhodox and the Serenid Sultanate have made peace, okay. How much renown did we get? I'm sorry, not renown. How much morale? A little bit. Not a lot of bit, but a little bit. Alright, let's track down some food. They've got some cheeses, some fish. That'll work. I'll take it. So we've taken another little piece of contiguous land. That's good because it's not one of those random steals that's like out in Qdan or something where it's disjointed. It's not connected to your main landmass and then you've got to run out there and defend it all the time. I am keeping a tentative eye on Ambient at the moment because they do love to raid it. I'm wondering if Vaegirs is at war with somebody right now because I'm not seeing anybody coming up to raid us. There's Viajeg raided and Firichin is raided, but I don't know if those are leftovers from the back half of the Swadian campaign. King Ragnar took it for himself. Of course he did. Of course King Ragnar took it for himself. Well, we could make a hard push for Jerb, so I think that's what we'll do next. We'll see if we can't wrangle ourselves a Jerb. Let me do all my upgrades because it's definitely paramount at this point. It's at the apogee of our concerns that we make sure everybody is at a full upgraded status, especially since we just lost our main shock troopers. So it might even be worthwhile just to sit around for a few days and level up. Maybe right up here and see if there's anything to murder. Any large groups of Sea Raiders that would help us level up faster. Little group right there. Although they are outrunning us. Level ups went through one more time. We'll go ahead and take all these footmen, turn them into trained footmen. And then finally, we'll kill off these bandits in the hope of giving ourselves a little bit of extra morale, and beyond that, making sure that people are leveling up quicker. Nothing gets people leveled up faster than slaughtering bandits. I don't know why it works like that, but I always feel like I get way more upgrades when I kill bandits. It might be a perceptional bias, but I do feel like we level up quicker. Like, the weird campaign battles don't necessarily seem to always garner the results that I would prefer. And out of their 30 men, I just killed 5, unless I counted poorly, and then it's 4. If I counted really poorly, it might have been 6. You never know. When Splattercat's counting, anything could happen. That's why I'm not an accountant. If I was an accountant, I definitely would have a bad reputation, I think. Accountants and a mild tendency for dyslexia do not mix. If my accountant told me he was dyslexic, I'd be like, that is really, really bad. Make sure you put the 0 in the right place, my friend. Then again, my bank account would have to have zeros in the first place for him to misplace them, so there is that to be considered. My bank account is at like one of those statuses where, like, I'm firmly a member of the proletariat. I'll leave it like that, but in any case, my bank account is at that point where, like, when you look at your bank account, you're just like, oh. Like, you have to make a noise as a qualifier. Just, oh. People are like, oh, are you alright? Did you have a family member die or something when you're in the library and you check it? Nobody checks their bank account in the library. That's not safe. Data theft is the real thing. Let's kill off another group of Sea Raiders. Oh, he turned so that I wouldn't get a bunch of his friends. What a kind individual. I'm going to leave for just a second. And one upgrade there. And nobody else got upgraded, huh? Ah, well, what can you do? All you can do is do your best. And beyond that, 91 marksmen there. That could be a problem. I don't even know what that said. I was clicking to move, and it put the notification in the exact same spot, so I clicked through it on accident. I think in that situation, I should probably wrangle some people together to go take... Where is it? Probably Sargoth or Provin would be my guess. We'll go take Jerb. I should also keep an eye out for anything that might be sniped easily so I can get myself a castle here. As I mentioned in the previous part of the episode, we do have enough stuff, or we do have enough right to rule in order to make our own faction at this point. I don't think we have the friends to support it, though. I've been kind of running around in a wanton fashion, kind of making everybody angry at me, and it's going to backfire on me if I try and make my own faction. They are going to run a train on me like I was made out of track, so... Let's kill another group of bandits, and I think that'll be the last thing we do for this episode. Remember, I'm trying to level up after that loss of... I know people are like, oh, more bandit killing. Well, unfortunately, because I lost so many Huskarls, and we're not at a point in the episode where I can quit. We're stuck here, so we'll take it for now. Infantry can keep on going. Cavalry can follow me, though, and I'm going to put my archers back here for once so they get some shots off first before I get in there and start messing with their weird blob. I was going to say messing with their lines, but they don't have a line, they have a blob. Nizar's not listening to orders. He's just, oh, that's because I didn't tell my infantry to hold the line. Okay. Alright, well, you know, organizational failure, leadership failure. An export of Splattercat Industries. He had his block up, but he still died. I don't know exactly what happened. That guy just blocked with the back of his head, which is fairly impressive. He's gonna throw a javelin at me. Not to be confused with a javelina, which is an Arizona desert pig. Javelinas are adorable. Go look up baby javelinas. Go ahead. That guy just tried to pimp slap me off my horse. A brave Really? I didn't realize my horse was at such a low health. You there, give me your horse. He's like, hell no. I'm not getting off this horse. You're dreaming. Where you going, Pally? You ain't going nowhere. You're going straight to hell. Or heaven. You might have been a nice person, I don't know. One sword sister killed. Disappointing. Definitely disappointing, but it's alright. I've taken my meditation, I've gotten my ohm on, and now I feel as though I can continue with the rest of my episode without being frustrated. I'm gonna break it off here, and so while I upgrade, I'll do my spiel. My name is Splattercat, thank you for joining me here in the Nerd Castle for another episode of Paradox's Mountain Blade Warband. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Take care out there, everybody, and goodbye.